How are you?
How are you today?
I'm good, and you?
Fine, Cunningham.
Bob and Kathy Cunningham have come to Montefiore Medical Center in New York City for Bob's bi-weekly checkup. Bob is 63.
How are you?
He runs a small home repair business in Long Island.
Oh, right. Doing fine. Very well.
Just 2 months before, he arrived here in an ambulance near death. His heart muscle no longer able to pump blood.
Okay.
When we first laid eyes on Bob, he was on a breathing machine. His vital signs weren't stable. He did have an acute onset of heart failure.
You haven't been like climbing ladders or anything, have you?
No, not yet.
For years, Bob's heart muscle had been growing weaker. The result of a series of heart attacks so small, he had never even been aware of them.
For the last 3 or 4 years, I did notice a steeper decline in my condition. I attributed to my age and that I was getting older and had to make adjustments. Okay, we're hooked up, I think.
Okay.
He didn't even know that he was having a heart attack, but he was short of breath. They don't know how he got this far with the way the heart was pumping.
Bob survived, but each small heart attack had left his heart muscle scarred, weaker, more and more compromised. The damage was in the left ventricle. To keep the blood flowing, Bob's heart compensated by enlarging.
That's a reaction to heart failure as it gets bigger and bigger and bigger. So even though it moves less, it contains more and it pumps as much. So that's how the body, nature, compensates, is by getting bigger and bigger.
But when the heart gets too big, it weakens.
When the heart begins to enlarge, it continues to weaken and weaken, and it can no longer contract in the normal way. When it's this large, it just doesn't pump the volume of blood necessary to nourish all the other organs of the body.
So no drainage or anything, right?
Doctors could offer Bob only one solution: a new heart. But to keep him alive until a donor could be found, they surgically implanted a heart pump to take over the damaged left ventricle, an LVAD.
They performed open heart surgery on me and installed a pump. So my heart's not able to sustain me on its own. The pump assists me, and then I get the transplant.
In Bob's case, the muscle of the left ventricle is damaged and it can't pump so effectively anymore. And so if we connect the inflow tube into the left ventricle, where blood usually is ejected into circulation, then the blood drains from the left ventricle into the pump, and then it's able to eject blood through the outflow tube up to the same artery where it would be ejected through the left ventricle if the heart was doing the work. And so it's just a big extension of circulation, and the pump takes over the pumping function of the blood for the heart.
And you're just gonna wipe around with the saline.
In the United States, there are waiting lists for new organs. Bob now is one of about 3,000 people on the list for a new heart.
You know, the goal is to keep everything dry.
But because heart pumps can break down or cause infections, LVAD patients are given temporary priority status.
Patients with mechanical assist devices fall into a special group. They're given a 30-day grace period where we can list them as a status 1A, which is at the top of the list.
But with so many dangerously ill people in need of a heart, those living successfully with a pump are given priority status for only 30 days. After 25 days, Bob's is nearly over.
I'll have you slip back just for one more
Every year,
short minute.
hundreds of people die waiting for a new heart. Early the next morning, good fortune appears to be in Bob's favor. A phone call woke him with news that a potential donor heart had been found.
Cardiac transplant, LaShawn. We will be doing a transplant today. The patient is Robert Cunningham.
At 2:30 a.m. that morning, the cardiac transplant team at Montefiore Medical Center had received word that a heart might be available.
It's local, it's at Jacoby.
The donor? A 34-year-old victim of a drug overdose. His body kept alive on mechanical support at a nearby hospital. His family has agreed to donate his organs to people who need them.
They're still doing lung recruitment and they're placing all the organs. Everything is going, so.
Bob is fortunate. Worldwide, there is a shortage of donors. A problem complicated by demanding medical standards for donor hearts, including genetic similarity, size, and health.
We've had several calls for him. We just had an offer on him yesterday too, but a lot of them have not been good at all. We gotta stay positive. We'll see how things go.
You spoke to Mr. Cunningham and he is
I
okay?
spoke to Mr. Cunningham and I told him we would give him a call, but just to sit tight and go eat.
You know, something light.
Okay, cool. Since it's such a short distance away and he has an LVAD, we'll want plenty of time to be able to get him on the table, prep him, and start dissecting the LVAD out.
Cardiac transplant, LaShawn.
And take the heart out over there.
Hey.
The heart sitting in a bucket for a couple of hours. So
Oh, man.
that's why I said you have a high propensity once you get
I
over
can't
there,
believe it.
and they're harvesting the organ to be sitting around.
All right.
Because we want it in the
Bye.
body circulating. Minimizes the risk after transplant. The lower you keep the ischemic time. Kidneys and liver and other abdominal organs. Kidneys, I think, can be out for like 24 hours or 24 to 48 hours or something like that. What?
He arrested.
Get out of here.
The donor arrested. So.
He died.
Yeah.
When I spoke with her last time, she said it was okay to go and have breakfast now, because I couldn't at first. Hold on, Chris. Hello.
Hey, Bob, it's Nicole.
Nicole, how are you?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm wonderful. I feel like $1 million.
I'm glad you feel like $1 million, because I got some bad news. Something went wrong with the donor a few minutes ago, and he expired. So it's been a long and exciting day that hasn't turned out so well, but I guess we got to stay positive. So we still got 3 days to get you a heart.
Okay, dear.
Okay, I'll talk to you later.
Bye-bye.
Bye. That sucks.
Okay, old plans are off. Something not too good happened. The donor expired, and unexpectedly. So nothing's gonna work out. I was prepared for this. You have to accept it. I have a lot of support, a lot of love, so I'm not alone. As my son said a little while ago, it's like a dry run. A practice run. Just make something positive come out of it, and everything will be fine.